because there's been some changes after the draft combine. Some people that rocketed up the draft charts because of amazing showings. One player in particular, which I'm sure we'll get to. But two things before we get into the video. First of all, I like to use dark mode when I go onto these websites, but both of these websites, using the dark mode, kind of like breaks the graphics. It makes it look bad. So the screen is going to be very bright. I know some people have complained about that, so if that's something that's going to bother you, turn your phone upside down or turn down the brightness on your TV or something if you're watching on TV, just as a forewarning. Dark mode, I cannot use it today, unfortunately. Second of all, I've had a lot of people asking me about a March Madness bracket. I've replied to a few of these comments, but for me, I don't really watch or have any understanding of college basketball. I watch professional sports pretty much exclusively, unless it's the Oregon Ducks, but they're not in the tournament. But I've been watching a little bit. I've watched a handful of games so far, and there's been some massive upsets, some amazing stuff happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one video at the end of the tournament, at the end of March Madness, and just kind of cover the tournament as a whole, kind of talk about everything that happened and stuff like that. I'm not going to do a prediction or anything, obviously it's too late for that, but I'm just going to talk about the tournament as a whole. So once it's over, I will be doing a March Madness video. But anyways, thank you guys, and let's get into it. This is CBS for my first one because I used CBS in my last video. So if you guys want to compare directly to what happened, or that first draft compared to this one, see what changes happened, obviously you can do that. And obviously, as we know, free agency is happening right now. There's been some trades, players moving around, some trades that have not happened yet that are maybe expected to happen soon. The big one being Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets, which is basically a lock at this point. It just isn't official. But let's get started. And in that last video, I talked about how I thought that a team would trade up to get the very first pick. And somebody did end up doing that, although it was not a team that I had predicted to do it. I thought it might be the Texans. I also thought that it might have been the Colts that would trade up, but it was in fact the Carolina Panthers, who, honestly, I didn't see that coming. But in this draft, round 1, pick 1, they have the Carolina Panthers taking Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. It says it cost a lot for the Panthers to trade with the Bears, move up 8 spots to number 1, but now they control their own destiny when it comes to finding a franchise quarterback. Carolina is reportedly smitten with 2 quarterbacks, with owner David Tepper preferring Bryce Young and new head coach Frank Reich liking C.J. Stroud. Tepper unsurprisingly wins that battle, and Carolina takes the small-statured yet ultra-talented Young. Second pick, they have the Houston Texans taking C.J. Stroud, quarterback from Ohio State. Even if the Texans want Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud to be more than a fine consolation prize. Stroud's excellent combine performance brings everyone Weiss firmly in the QB1 conversation. And yes, Stroud was one of those guys. He did look really good at the combine, but when we get to Anthony Richardson, wherever he shows up, we'll talk about him. He had an amazing combine. Third overall pick, they have the Arizona Cardinals taking Will Anderson Jr. The Cardinals have also talked about trading out, but that may have become more difficult with the biggest QB needy team behind them, the Panthers, already moving up. For the time being, Arizona makes Will Anderson Jr. the first defensive news for the Colts that they're no longer getting their first or second choice from the top QBs. The thin silver lining, though, is that they most likely won't have to trade up if they want one of the remaining signal callers. That's the case here, as Indianapolis lands Will Levis, not time to give up any assets. Although personally, if I was them, I think I would take Richards instead of Levis at this point. Then for the 5th overall pick, they have the Seattle Seahawks taking Tyree Wilson, which, if they have this pick, I would hope that they would take Carter instead, edge out of Texas Tech. Seahawks bypass QB to continue to strengthen their defensive front. They made a big move on day one of free agency by signing Tremont Jones, and now they get help on the edge of the selection of Tyree Wilson. The Texas Tech standout did not participate in the NFL Combine as he continues recovering from a fractured foot he suffered in November, but he plans to do drills and testing at the school's pro day on March 29th. He'll showcase his skill set that will validate his standing as a top 10 pick. Some people were wondering if the Seahawks would go QB, but they just locked up Geno Smith on, I believe, a 3-year deal, and they brought back Drew Lock on a 1-year deal to back him up. So, I was always skeptical on the idea they'd go QB, but now I really don't think they will. Quick sip my lemonade here. Lemonade's been very hard to find here in Australia. It's one of my favorite drinks, but here, if you say lemonade, people think you're referring to Sprite. Finding like American style lemonade it's not really a thing here. I found one restaurant that sells it, then I found this at like a local corner store, so that was really cool. Although they do have a drink here called Solo, which is very good and kind of comparable. 6th overall pick, they have the Detroit Lions taking Anthony Richardson, quarterback from Florida. I think this is steal getting him at 6. The Lions have expressed the utmost confidence in Jared Goff as their starting QB this offseason, but in this scenario, Anthony Richardson being available is too good to pass up. Making this decision easier is the fact that Detroit has already addressed one of its biggest needs, cornerback, in free agency by signing Cameron Sutton and Emmanuel Mosley. All of a sudden, this franchise is in position to win now while grooming Richardson, who has the most potential of any QB in the draft, to take the reins when he's ready. So Richardson at the NFL Draft Combine, I think, put up the best athletic numbers of any QB ever. I'm gonna look him up real quick on my just on my phone here to like see his combine. Okay. Richardson turned in one of the greatest NFL Combine performances in history. He set several records in the athletic tests and looked good during position-specific drills. He came in at 6'4", 244 pounds, which is crazy size for QB. He says he compared physically to Cam Newton during his NFL Combine. His vertical jump was 40.5, which is the best of any quarterback ever. His broad jump was the best broad jump by any quarterback in NFL history. His 40 time was 4.44 seconds, which was the best of any quarterback in this draft, and it was the 4th best 40 time for any quarterback in NFL history, behind Michael Vick, Robert Griffin III, and Reggie McNeil. I don't really know Reggie McNeil, but if your 40 time is the same as Michael Vick and RG3, you are going to be a dual threat QB if you can get your arm figured out, because those guys could he's gonna break Lamar Jackson's rushing records for QB like by his rookie season. So he killed it at the combine. And honestly, if I was the Colts, I would take him at 4. I don't know if I'd take him over Stroud, because Stroud looked really good, kind of a more traditional QB. But Richardson looked so good, I would take him over Levis. At 7, they have Jalen Carter going to the Las Vegas Raiders, D-line from Georgia. If Carter's on the board and Seattle takes Tyree Wilson instead, honestly, I will be a little bit upset. Especially, if Anderson's on the board, take Anderson. But I would like to have Carter at 5 if he's available. But they have him going to the Raiders. The Jalen Carter situation has been resolved from a legal standpoint, with Carter getting 12 months of probation and a $1,000 fine, but avoiding jail time. Still, it's unclear what teams think of him after his legal trouble and disappointing pro day. In this mock, Carter's passed over as the first defensive prospect taken, but still lands in the top 10. 8th overall pick, they have cornerback Christian Gonzalez from Oregon going to the Atlanta Falcons. Which is funny, because then I would have like 2 guys in Atlanta that I like, even though I don't root for Atlanta. There's a guy on the Atlanta Falcons, I don't want to give out his name, but I went to high school with him, and I kind of knew him a little bit, not that well. So I've always kind of been seeing how his career is going. And then if they get a guy from Oregon, I like Oregon. Christian Gonzalez seems to cement himself as his class's best cornerback after showing at the NFL Combine. He tested really well and showcased smooth athleticism during on-field drills, and that's in addition to displaying his ball hawking skills this past season at Oregon. The Falcons need more defensive playmakers, and Gonzalez fits the bill. 9th overall pick, and this is the one that they traded down from 1 to the Chicago Bears, drafting Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver from Ohio State. And I think just based on what I possibly remember from my last draft, I don't believe he was in the top 10 of that last mock. I might be wrong, but I feel like he was outside the top 10. The Bears are making moves. First, they trade the number 1 overall pick to the Panthers for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a proven wide receiver in DJ Moore. Then they go out on day 1 of free agency and lock down 2 of the best available linebackers in TJ Edwards and Jermaine Edmonds, in addition to solid guard Nate Davis. They've already filled some holes, but there's more work to be done, and with their newly acquired number 9 selection, the Bears give Justin Fields a similar weapon in Jackson Smith-Njigba, a route running savant with elite agility skills. You guys know I was kind of high on the Bears last season. I thought the Bears were better than their record last season. I thought they lost a lot of games that they should have won. Especially, Justin Fields. It felt like every week he was getting better and better. So it'll be really cool to see Fields with some better weapons. I think, the Bears could maybe make some noise. 10th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Myles Murphy, D-line from Clemson. It appeared the Eagles need a new starting cornerback after reports are releasing Darius Slay. Now he's trending towards returning, meaning a star-studded duo of he and James Bradbury will be Woods and Noah Brown in free agency. Now Houston looks to strengthen the secondary. Devin Witherspoon, one of the best defenses in all of college football, the fundamentals, physicality, and instincts to thrive. Opposite 2022, number 3 overall pick Derek Stingley Jr. Now you have a mock trade here, and this is kind of what I was talking about with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, but I'm assuming they have this being the Aaron Rodgers trade, them getting the 13th overall pick. So the Green Bay Packers selected 13 Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle from Northwestern. On Wednesday, Aaron Rodgers announced his intentions to play for the Jets. And while there's no trade in place yet, we're going to assume it involves the Jets' first-round pick. With Green Bay now on the clock, it knows the Patriots are looking for offensive line help, and therefore goes to the technically excellent Peter Skoronski, who will help out the unit whenever needed. Speaking of the Patriots, at 14th overall, they take Broderick Jones, offensive tackle from Georgia. Shortly after, reports surfaced that the Patriots were making trade calls about DeAndre Hopkins and Jerry Jeudy. They landed Juju Smith-Schuster on a reported 3-year, $33 million deal. New England could still go pass catcher here, but instead opts for more protection for Mac Jones. Broderick Jones, in contention to be the first offensive lineman taken, has everything you want in an NFL tackle, although they have met 5th for his position. Then the 15th overall pick, that Green Bay Packers select Brian Branch, safety from Alabama. Brian Branch didn't have a great NFL combine, but he was always going to be a trust-the-day prospect anyway. The Alabama standout can basically play anywhere, has high football IQ, and excels as a run defender, with the Packers set to lose one or both of Adrian Amos and Rudy Ford. And with this not being a strong safety draft class, they choose production over measurables and making Branch a first-round pick. Pick 16, they have the Washington Commanders taking cornerback Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. I'm not sure how much more of these I'm gonna be reading out loud. Like the stuff, I might just do the top 15. Yeah, I'm done reading the descriptions for now, and then I'll read them on the next one too. 17th overall pick, Darnell Wright, offensive tackle from Tennessee, goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 18th overall pick, they have the Detroit Lions selecting Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah. 19th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Brian Precy, D-line from Clemson. 20th overall pick, my Seahawks projecting to take Jordan Addison, wide receiver from USC. Which is weird, I don't think we really need another wide receiver. We got DK and Lockett. And I feel like we have decent wide receiver depth. I don't know about that. But round 1, pick 21, the Chargers take Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas. And they just got rid of Austin Eckler, so they're going to need a new running back. And running back's one of the most, I don't want to say disposable, replaceable positions. And it seems like teams are quickly figuring this out, and running backs aren't really getting good contracts anymore. It's like, nah, next man up, the running back position is not what it used to be money-wise. 22nd overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens selecting Quentin Johnston, wide receiver from TCU. But they need to figure out what's going on with Lamar, because that's a real awkward, contentious situation at the moment. They are way far apart in their contract negotiations. He's going out on social media and talking trash about the Baltimore front office, openly. It's not looking good. 23rd overall pick, they have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College. 24th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars get DeWand Jones, offensive tackle from Ohio State, 6'8", 350 O'Cyrus Torrance, inside offensive lineman from Florida, going to the Buffalo Bills, the 27th overall pick. Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia, going to the Cincinnati Bengals, a tight end that is 6'7", 270. With the weapons that Cincinnati already has, a guy like that could be a big X factor for getting them over the hump. 29th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints take Nolan Smith, edge from Georgia. 30th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles get Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from Alabama. And finally, Kansas City with the final pick at the first round get Will McDonald, the 4th edge from Iowa State. So this was the CBS draft. But now I want to look at the Ringers 2023 NFL Draft Guide. I'm doing myself a little bit smaller for this one. But let's see what they have. This one's going to be a little bit different. Mock draft by Danny Kelly. And look at this, we already have an interesting wrinkle. They've changed it up. They have Anthony Richardson going first overall to the Carolina Panthers. First overall. Carolina Panthers. This is an incredibly bold but potentially franchise-altering move for the Panthers, who jump all the way up to the number 1 spot. Who they take becomes the new big question for draft season, and I'm going to give them the star of the NFL Combine in Richardson, the former Gator, who has been compared to former Carolina great Cam Newton, is a uniquely gifted athlete who brings the ability to impact the game with both his arm and his legs. He may lack starting experience, but no quarterback in this class has a higher ceiling. And they have a full scouting report. Look at this. 100th percentile, 100th percentile, 100th percentile. Elite athleticism, arm strength, playmaking. Richardson is a big, rocked-up frame with explosive movement skills. A former 4-star prospect out of Gainesville, Florida. He was the number 9 ranked dual-threat quarterback in his class. I'm not going to read all this, but this is crazy. That's awesome. The amount of detail they went into on this. Way more than CBS. At number 2, they have Bryce Young going to the Houston Texans, quarterback out of Alabama. Young is historically small for a first-round quarterback, but the Texans are willing to bet on all his other enticing traits. The former Crimson Tide star is a true natural at the position, with quick processing skills, otherworldly elusiveness in the pocket, along with his accuracy and creativity. He has plenty of ways to mitigate his lack of size and can be a game changer for Houston. Number 3, they have Will Anderson Jr. going to the Cardinals. And that's both these drafts now, having him go to the Cardinals at 3. I think one of the ones last time had him falling to the Seahawks at 5. But it seems like people might be coming away from that now. They don't think that the Cardinals will take Carter. I would have preferred to have Anderson over Carter, but I'm going to be happy with either. The Cardinals stick and pick here at number 3, carrying my top-ranked player and pass rusher, Will Anderson. The former Crimson Tide star is a 3-down difference maker who gives new Arizona head coach Jonathan Gannon a blue-chip talent to build his defense around. At 4, they have C.J. Stroud going to the Indianapolis Colts. Stroud's not as flashy as their quarterbacks in this class, but he's supremely confident, poised, and accurate when throwing to all 3 levels of the field. He's a day 1 starter who should benefit from a solid supporting cast, headlined by Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. his career. 6th, Detroit Lions taking Tyree Wilson. Wilson didn't test at the combine, but his official measurements alone should appeal to Dan Campbell and the Lions. 6'6", 271 pounds, a condor-like 35-inch arms. He has the size and length to dominate on the edge on all 3 downs. Alongside Aiden Hutchinson and Alan McNeil, Wilson gives Detroit a chance to dominate the defensive trench. Then 7, they have Will Levis going to the Las Vegas Raiders. After playing under former NFL coordinators the last 2 seasons, Levis speaks the pro language and brings potential to hit the ground running in Josh McDaniels' offense with a talented group of skill players. Levis can act as a ball distributor early in his career, giving Las Vegas a chance to compete in 2023. And 8, they have Christian Gonzalez going to the Atlanta Falcons like the last draft. 4 quarterbacks off the board. The Falcons turn to the defensive side of the ball, grabbing my top-ranked cornerback. Gonzalez showed out at the combine in Indianapolis, posting incredible speed and explosiveness to go with excellent size. Opposite A.J. Terrell, gives Atlanta the chance to field one of the better cornerback duos in the NFL. Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher from Iowa, going to the Chicago Bears. After adding a huge haul from Carolina to move back to number 9, the Bears land an ascending pass rusher in Van Ness. The former Hawkeyes stand out as a big, strong, and super athletic, bringing burst and power as a rusher. He's a great high upside building block on Chicago's defensive line. I don't think in the last draft he wasn't even in the first round, was he? Because they had them going, Jackson Smith and Najigba, but that guy was even in the first round on this draft, so that's interesting. 10, Devin Witherspoon to the Philadelphia Eagles. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury slated for free agency. The Eagles need to restock the shells of defensive back. Witherspoon lacks size of 5'11", 181 pounds, but he makes up for it with unmatched intensity on the field. He's a tone setter who would fit in well with the defending NFC champs. 11, Peter Skoronski going to the Tennessee Titans. After releasing longtime tackle Taylor Lewin, the Titans need to upgrade their offensive line. Skoronski falls under some team standard as the tackle position for arm length, but the dude just gets guys blocked in both the run and passing game. Whether he's a guard or tackle for the Titans, he's going to come in and help the offense from day 1. Then 12, they have Myles Murphy going to the Houston Texans. After selecting their quarterback, the future of their first or 2 first-round picks, the Texans turn here and address the defense. New head coach D'Amico Ryans doesn't have the impression of riches in Houston they did in San Francisco, but if he has any hopes of recreating some of the 49ers magic, he'll have to boost his new team's pass rush group. Murphy has an explosive first step as any pass rusher in the class. They have this going to the Jets, but this is the pick that'll probably be traded to the Green Bay Packers. They have them taking Broderick Jones from Georgia. I'm not going to read out the descriptions anymore. 14, Joey Porter Jr. going to New England Patriots. Defensive back from Penn State. 15, going to the Packers, Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. Paris Johnson Jr., tackle at Ohio State, going to Washington. DeJuan Jones, tackle at Ohio State, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bijan Robinson, running back out of Texas, going to the Lions. They just gave up that guy I really like. The running back I really like that was in Detroit. Was his name Jamal Williams? I really liked that guy. He had the Naruto headband stuff. They just let him walk. That kind of sucked, to be honest. I really liked that guy. Number 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Nolan Smith, edge rusher out of Georgia. Finally, this is the guy that came off at like number 8 or 9 in that last mock. But here they have him going to Seattle Seahawks at necessary with our defense being as bad as it was last season. But they have Jack Smith and Najigba going to Seattle Seahawks at 20. Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College, going to the Chargers at 21. Wide receiver at USC, Jordan Addison, going to the Baltimore Ravens at 22. Brian Breesy, interior defensive lineman out of Clemson, going to the Minnesota Vikings. Quentin Johnston, wide receiver at TCU, going to the Jacksonville Jaguars at 24. Keon White, edge rusher at Georgia Tech, going to the New York Giants at 25. 26th overall, Dalton Kincaid, tight end at Utah, going to the Dallas Cowboys. 27th overall, you have Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver at Tennessee, going to the Buffalo Bills. The tackle at Tennessee, Darnell Wright, going at 28th overall to the Cincinnati Bengals. Not as exciting as them getting Darnell Washington. This guy, if he goes to the Bengals, I like the Bengals. I have a soft spot for them. They'd be an exciting team to watch. 6'7" tight end. But they have him going to the New Orleans Saints at 29. At 30th, they have Will McDonald, the fourth edge rusher out of Iowa State, going to the Eagles. And their last pick of the first round is interior defensive lineman at Michigan, Mazi Smith, going to the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is the post-combine mock draft. That's probably going to be the last mock draft I do until I cover the actual draft. It was like 2 months, a month and a half or something, I don't know, but it's coming up. Let me know what you guys think. Who's going first overall? What QB would you take? Let's say, for sake of argument, let's say you're the Carolina Panthers right now, and you're basically doing a total rebuild. You're completely rebuilding a team. You need to build a team around one of these rookie quarterbacks. You want to take a rookie quarterback to start your new franchise. Start over with. Who do you take at 1? Do you go Stroud? Do you go Richardson? Do you go Young? Do you maybe even go Levis? Do you maybe even go, who's the other one? Richardson, Young, Stroud, Levis. Is that it? Okay, those are the top 4 guys, but who would you take first overall at QB? Let me know what you think. What do you think about what your team needs to address in this draft? I'd love to hear any and all feedback in the comments down below, but thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Until next time, guys.